A single decision, one signature, a speech delivered from the most powerful office in the world that altered the course of history forever. These are not mere mistakes. They are catastrophic failures in judgment, blunders that cost billions of dollars, millions of lives, and reshaped the world as we know it. After analyzing decades of economic data, declassified documents, and historical records, we present the top 10 presidential blunders that changed history. At number 10, Jimmy Carter's Crisis of Confidence Address. In 1979, amid gas shortages and inflation, Carter didn't propose a policy solution. He told America it suffered from a malaise, a spiritual crisis. The data shows his approval rating plummeted 17 points in 3 weeks. The blunder wasn't the diagnosis, it was the delivery. It framed the problem as the people's failure, not the government's. Historians note it crippled his credibility and energized his opposition.
Number 9.
Andrew Johnson, sabotaging Reconstruction. After Lincoln's assassination, Johnson, a Southern sympathizer, pardoned Confederate leaders and allowed black codes to be enacted. These laws effectively re-enslaved African Americans through vagrancy arrests and labor contracts. His blunder dismantled Lincoln's vision and ignited a century of racial oppression. Data shows lynching rates tripled during his tenure. Number 8. JFK's Bay of Pigs invasion. Advised by the CIA, Kennedy greenlit a plan to overthrow Castro, then revoked critical air support at the last minute. The result? A humiliating defeat. Every Cuban exile was captured or killed. Declassified memos show Kennedy knew the plan was flawed, yet approved it anyway. This failure emboldened the Soviets to place nuclear missiles in Cuba, bringing the world to the brink of annihilation. Number 7. Herbert Hoover's response to the Great Depression. As banks collapsed, Hoover doubled down on austerity. He signed the Smoot-Hawley tariff, triggering a global trade war. Unemployment rocketed from 4% to 25%. GDP contracted by 27%. The data is clear. Hoover's ideological refusal to intervene turned a recession into the Great Depression. Number 6. Bill Clinton's deregulation of derivatives. In 2000, he signed the Commodity Futures Modernization Act, exempting credit swaps and derivatives from federal oversight. The result? Banks built a house of cards on subprime mortgages. The 2008 crash followed. The Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission later called this law a key turning point that made the collapse inevitable. Number 5. Woodrow Wilson's Treaty of Versailles. Despite intending peace, Wilson was outmaneuvered. The treaty imposed crushing reparations on Germany, equivalent to 100% of its GDP. Economists warned it would cause collapse. They were right. Hyperinflation, unemployment, and resentment fueled the rise of Hitler and the Nazi Party. Wilson's idealism created the conditions for World War II. Number 4. Lyndon B. Johnson's escalation in Vietnam. Despite CIA warnings that the war was unwinnable, Johnson committed 500,000 troops to a guerrilla conflict with no exit strategy. The cost? 58,000 American deaths, 2 million Vietnamese lives, and $1 trillion in today's dollars. Declassified memos show Johnson knew the domino theory was a myth, yet feared looking weak more than losing lives. Number 3. Andrew Jackson's Indian Removal Act. Defying the Supreme Court, Jackson forced 46,000 Native Americans on a death march west. Thousands died of disease, starvation, and exposure. This wasn't a policy dispute, it was ethnic cleansing. Jackson's own correspondence reveals he knew the human cost and didn't care. Number 2. James Buchanan's paralysis before Civil War. As Southern states seceded, Buchanan declared secession illegal, but did nothing to stop it. He surrendered authority for 4 critical months. Lincoln inherited a nation at war. Historians agree, Buchanan's cowardice made the Civil War longer and bloodier. His failure to lead is perhaps the greatest dereliction of duty in presidential history. And the number one blunder, George Bush's Iraq War and Mission Accomplished. Launched on flawed intelligence, the war toppled a dictator but unleashed chaos. The Mission Accomplished banner became a symbol of hubris. The data is staggering. 4,500 US soldiers died, $2 trillion were spent, and ISIS emerged from the power vacuum. The bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee concluded the White House misrepresented the threat. This blunder reshaped global politics for generations. What ties these blunders together? Certainty, hubris, the refusal to listen to dissent or data. These presidents believed they were right, and the results were catastrophic. History's lesson is clear. The greatest danger in the Oval Office isn't inexperience, it's the unquestioned belief in one's own infallibility. Do you agree with our list? What would you add? Debate us in the comments. And if you want to see the data for yourself, sources are linked below. Subscribe for more data-driven history. Until next time, question power and demand the truth. This is Data Drive. Thanks for watching.